What happens when a state legislature or a governor attempts to subvert the power of the local officials you elected? Well, it's called preemption. And it's a fancy word for state takeover, and it is a disturbing trend in many states. Around the country, Republican state lawmakers are passing legislation designed to rob Democratic cities of their independence, a phenomenon that's disproportionately targeting Black mayors. I recently visited Columbus, Ohio for the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and there an onslaught of red state efforts to take over blue cities has become a bipartisan concern. I sat down with 3 Democratic mayors, Quinton Lucas of Kansas City, Missouri, Tishaura Jones of St. Louis, and Mayor Lumumba of Jackson, Mississippi. Their cities have all dealt with intrusive state legislatures. Mayor Lumumba describes the phenomenon of preemption at the start of our conversation. Take a listen.
It's autocratic governance. It's state overreach. It's an effort to take away democratic principles. It goes against what are Republican foundational principles that state that they don't believe in the overreach of government and they don't believe in big government. But when it comes to Democratic cities like Jackson, Mississippi, we see continuous efforts. People are most aware of the effort of taking over our judicial system, not only our police department, but appointing judges within Jackson. And so all of this is part and parcel of a larger effort to not only attack Democratic leadership, but it's an attack on Black leadership.
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's talk about this. It is happening to Democratic mayors by Republican state legislatures. And disproportionately, it is happening to mayors of color, Black mayors to be specific.
Yes. If this was about public safety, then they would pass common sense gun safety laws. This is about power and control, period.
Mayor Lucas, I have heard you talk about this on a number of occasions. You have talked about that when it comes to gun violence, this is where the issue of preemption comes up most.
Yes. And you're right. It is state takeover. It is state control. That's simple. You don't have to know the legal term. You don't have to say preemption. It is state takeover where there can be local solutions. And gun violence is probably, in some ways, the most dramatic place because we see what this intervention means on our streets. In my state, in Tishaura's, we have this bill, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Fortunately, a federal judge has struck it down for now, although it gets appealed ultimately to the Supreme Court. And under that, they were trying to eliminate fundamentally cooperation between our local police, the police they claim to support. The ability of those police to cooperate with the ATF, with the FBI on things like illegal gun trafficking in our community. And at a time when we are seeing more assault weapons on the streets of our cities each and every day, assault weapons not made in Kansas City, not made in St. Louis, not made in Jackson, Mississippi, that cooperation with federal officials is key. So right now, all these laws and bills, they're not about making people safer. They're not about anything other than pure, unadulterated control. And we mentioned race before because it is important. Control of Black people, of Black people's choices, and those who live around us. The demonization of the American city is nothing more than a political strategy.
I see you both shaking your head, Mayor Jones. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And Mayor Lucas didn't mention the most egregious part of the Second Amendment Preservation Act was that it charged officers $50,000 per occurrence if someone thought that their Second Amendment rights were being violated, which had a horrible cooling effect on our officers' ability to even approach people who they thought were doing wrong or who they thought had weapons on them. So, you know, they claim that they support officers, meaning, you know, the red state legislatures, but they do everything in their power to make them unsafe.
Nashville is dealing with it. The mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, is dealing with it, particularly around the issue of guns. But all of the mayors I just named are Democrats.
Absolutely. And even stretching beyond just the public safety issue. If we look at the effort to take over municipal airports, that's not only a fight that the city of Jackson is engaged in right now. We know that Charlotte, North Carolina, has been embroiled in the same battle. Atlanta has the hints and the signs of an effort there is taking place. New Orleans, Louisiana had to contend with the same challenge. And so we should see it as a coordinated attack that is looking nationally of how they seize control over communities, how they seize control over resources in order to maintain or to gain power in a greater sense.
This is a topic that not just you all as mayors who are dealing with this are keenly focused on, but the U.S. Conference of Mayors is focused on. Mayor Lucas, you actually are chairing the task force, particularly on this issue. The U.S. Conference of Mayors is a bipartisan group. You know, you all say this is a place where mayors come to discuss solutions. So what is the conversation, particularly around the issue of preemption, from fellow mayors who are Republicans?
Right. I think there is a recognition that this expands beyond just us. You know, today it may be Jackson, it may be St. Louis. Tomorrow it can be Tampa. Tomorrow it is any number of places. Because the reality is that major American cities are where stuff gets done in our country and where you have a diverse set of people in almost all of them, even Republican-run ones. And so that's why when I've talked to mayors, Republican mayors from places, they're saying, we don't want you taking over our police department. We don't want you coming up with solutions for how we can build housing in our community.
Your committee is offering a resolution. What do you hope the resolution achieves?
First of all, I want it to tell mayors from all around the country, you are not alone. If you're somebody who's going through this in Alaska, we got your back. We've been through it. You may have different issues on the ground, but frankly, it's still the same substantive one. That's step one. I think step two is we need to fight back at legislatures. And I say that with great respect for their service. But, you know, they have groups and policy groups that push these same bad bills in every state. In Ohio right now, there's a conversation about following some of Missouri's laws like the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Mayors need to be that response group that says, you know what, no, nonpartisan, bipartisan, we're saying let us control our own decisions.
Talk to me a little bit about the current legal efforts in Jackson.
Well, they're voluminous because the efforts to take over control of Jackson has been waged on a number of fronts. So simultaneous to several lawsuits that have been filed against the state by the NAACP and also local organizers against the 1020 bill, which was the effort to create a separate judicial process. The state is also under review, a Title VI complaint that was also filed by the NAACP, looking at disproportionate funding to the city of Jackson. At the end of the day, whether it's lawsuits or other efforts, ours is the voice that insists that we are more, right? And so that means that we not only have to be willing to pursue on legal fronts, but we have to broaden our net of support.
Mayor Jones, I'm going to give you the last word on this. You have successfully beat back some efforts in the state of Missouri, but the fight continues. What is your message to mayors across the country, but also members of not just your state legislature, but members of state legislatures across this country who have engaged or are looking at Missouri as a model to engage in these state takeover efforts to further various agendas?
My message to state legislatures is simple. Leave us alone so we can lead. We were elected by our respective constituencies to lead our cities, and also stay in your lane. There is a lane for the state legislature, there's a lane for federal government, there's a lane for local government. And I thought we all learned what those lanes were when we were in our civics classes in high school. So, you know, we may not always agree, but at the end of the day, us as mayors, we're on the ground. We know what our people want, we know what they deserve, and they deserve to be, for their voices to be heard when they go to the ballot box.
Well, we will stay on this issue. Mayor Lucas, Mayor Jones, Mayor Lumumba, thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
You can see more of that on Peacock this week, folks.